Yeah, well, sea lions here, Chris. We got some sea lions, and I've got Jimmy here with me, too. You know, they've got the food, they've got the rides, and they've got the events going on, too. There's a monster truck show, and then the sea lion show's going on. Jimmy, tell us a little bit about the show that y'all have here.
All right, so we got rescued sea lions. This right here is Ava. She's 10 years old. She's a beach stranded rescue. Right over here, we got Maya. She's a California sea lion, 4 years old, also rescued. And way over here, we've got Gouda, all rescued sea lions. All here to have some fun and teach you guys about what we can do to help these animals and try to entertain you at the same time.
This is Becca, a nationally ranked canine in Banks County who's got one heck of a nose, who's helping not only people here in the county, but also across the state.
Just to give you a frame of reference, the president of the Atlanta Sports Council compared it to hosting 8 Super Bowls at once. And that's why the industries that are going to be impacted the most tell me they're getting ready right now,
including the findings from that GBI investigation. And even though the district attorney disagrees, they're calling for a special prosecutor to be assigned to the case.
The Sandy Springs mayor told me that GDOT was looking at 6 to 9 months to get materials and make repairs to this decades-old bridge that was already going to be replaced. Yeah, Quavo told us it was really hard for him to be here on what should have been Takeoff's 30th birthday, but he felt the best way to honor his nephew was joining Vice President Kamala Harris for a conversation about change. The two talked about gun violence, mental health, and how the two intertwine specifically with survivors. Quavo says he witnessed the shooting that killed Takeoff in Houston in 2022. Pain and trauma hasn't gone away. It's why Quavo started the Rocket Foundation in Takeoff's honor and began investing in local organizations that can help stop gun violence.
When I saw him laying there, I felt like I saw me laying there. So I feel like when I'm doing something like the Rocket Foundation, I just want to uplift his legacy and make sure to keep his name alive.
And at the end of their conversation, VP Harris announced the Safer America Network. It's a partnership with AmeriCorps designed to put more trauma-informed resources in the community. Live at the Carter Center, Grace King, 11 Alive News.
Time and time again.
So he was shot and killed on this street, Metropolitan, in 1993 by a 16-year-old.
Similar stories.
He was in his bed asleep, and a stray bullet came through his window.
With new mothers.
He had died right on the scene.
And too many are losing their children to gun violence. In late June, the U.S. Surgeon General issued an advisory declaring gun violence a public health crisis, a message advocates like Leonard Dungy have been saying for years.
This is an epidemic. It's no longer, gang warfare only and whatever. It's people killing people now. Because everybody has a gun, because everybody has a gun.
Dungy is putting young people at the forefront. He collaborated with county, city, and community leaders at Metropolitan Library to discuss how to prevent violence from getting worse with community intervention rather than more policing. They discussed stories like 9-year-old Nigel Brown's, who was shot and killed in Albany, and DeRay Johnson's, a 23-year-old shot and killed in Snellville. Johnson's mother, Marlon Johnson, pleading for action.
We need to be a resource. We need to have safe spaces where our kids, we need to stop being judgmental. Their souls are on the line.
Panelists discuss a 10-point plan, a Save Our Souls violence prevention, with the hope that talking directly with children, meeting high-risk individuals where they are, and asking what they need will make a change before it's too late.
It's not all mental health, but it is a public health issue. We have to treat it like a disease. We have to stop the transmission. We have to prevent the spread and change group and social norms, just like COVID.
When you think about the heartbeat of the holidays,
the kids think it's the gifts and it's the 14 trees, right? But it's the one that we have that's truly what the meaning of Christmas is all about.
One gift can't be wrapped in sparkly ribbons or bows, but shines through the Hall family's youngest daughter.
We love decorating a little early.
When Mallory was 10 days old,
I got sick and I went to the hospital and they said I was fine with some medicine, but it wasn't working after 2 years. So we went back and I needed a new heart.
They moved into Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, waiting for the phone to ring, waiting for 2 months.
And then we got the call.
There was this nurse, I forgot her name, he probably remembers it.
Her name was Felicia. I not the one that cries.
Yes.
It's supposed to be you. She looked at me and said, "Do you want a hug?" And I gave her a hug, and it was like all 2 months of emotion finally came out of me.
It's the moment they prayed for. Their baby girl gifted a new heart.
And went over, grabbed a stethoscope, and listened to her heart, knowing it would be the last time.
That began a new family tradition.
My heart treat, this is one of my favorites.
Each December 7th, Mallory adds a new heart ornament to her tree.
And she hangs it every year. So it's, I feel like it's one small thing that we can do, you know, to honor him or her.
Their daughter's angel, giving the gift of life after one family's loss, gaining more meaning to each holiday together.
That family, I couldn't imagine. To make that sacrifice for our kid. I mean, we thought about it all the time.
I would just thank them that I'm still alive today because of their child. And I just feel very lucky because of them. And I wouldn't be possible if they hadn't helped.
A life worth celebrating. At the foot of a house on Wide Road,
my dad bought this house in '69.
Sits the foundation of David Williams's childhood.
Man, if this acre could talk, it would tell a lot of stories, a lot of memories.
Memories of the once green grass outside.
My dad used to grow gardens that sweet potatoes be big as your head, you know. You can't get that back, you know. It look a mess now, but it was beautiful.
Beautiful, like the big oak that stood outside for more than 50 years.
That tree right there, it was like big.
Lost in last year's tornado and tossed onto the home where David's roots were planted.
Lots of roots.
Trapping David and his 2-year-old nephew inside.
It was like a train, really like a live train, like woo, real loud. And it got real dark, real fast.
But the sound that sticks with David?
My instinct was to grab my nephew, come through here and go in the bathroom. And when I did that, he just started screaming, man, it wouldn't stop. And I would never forget that scream of his.
Sorrow still sits outside David's home. It's in the tassels of the trike that's been in his family for decades. It's in the toy truck tires, now trashed from the track of the tornado. It's in the doorknob, holding his heart open for new memories.
Come on, let's go.
A lot was lost in the storm on the streets off Kendall Drive.
From here back, everything gone.
But inside the house, there's hope for a home.
They getting ready to start painting today.
Because at the root of it all,
it was amazing though. We survived it.
There's resurrection in the rebuild.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Regardless of the season, Daniel found a field to play on.
Love sports, especially the Braves.
There's a drive that comes with being a two-sport athlete.
Go, Daniel, go! Go, Daniel, go! Interestingly enough, he didn't want to go to practice, but he said, I'm a tough guy, I can tough this out.
A determination Daniel used to dig deep into finding a way.
I was on my way up to get him from practice when I got the call from the coach that he's really sick and they needed to call the ambulance.
Athletes depend on actions to speak louder than words. But on October 25th, Daniel's voice silenced his mom.
I saw him pass out on the ground. I think he knew I was there, but the last thing he said to me was, help me.
Daniel was rushed to Children's for emergency surgeries, doctors cutting off his beloved Braves shirt because there was no time to spare.
He had an AVM brain bleed on the left side of his brain.
Daniel had 2 brain bleeds, a potentially fatal diagnosis.
Dr. Boyson looked me in the eye and just said, we don't know if he's going to make it off the table.
And if he did?
They didn't know if he was going to be able to talk again, to understand us, to be able to do schoolwork.
Sprouts out and like a little broccoli? Yes.
Daniel, with his determination and the determination of the doctors at Children's, made it off the table.
And now has come all the way to be at day rehab with us, getting ready to go back to school.
Daniel's competitive nature comes into play in therapy.
It's also, it can come in a jar. And,
oh, pickles.
Yes.
In his opinion, his one loss?
Like
Why can't you just take off my shirt?
The Michael Harris shirt he was wearing, cut off before surgery.
I love Michael Harris.
It's the Braves player Daniel says he's always looked up to. And it's the Braves player
Oh my!
that surprised him this week at Children's with a brand new jersey and some words of advice to drive his determination.
To be great and do some of the things you dream of doing.
Two baseball players in different seasons of life.
One of the best things that could have happened.
For Daniel, it truly is a season of hope.
It's good to meet you.